Sagada has been my fantasy ever since. I have seen a lot of travelers visiting this place on social media. The lush mountains, the green terraces, the sea of clouds, the flowery farms, the delicious local dishes, and unbelievable cave systems. All of these made me realize things. It's time to explore and behold Sagada of Mountain Province. Enough with all the what ifs. I need to travel and see it for myself. That night was different. I booked my tour from one of the tour organizers I have met online. The weather is playing an annoying game, trying to make me change my mind. Booking a vehicle was also a big problem in this heavy rain. Yet, luck has given me my piece of hope for this day. I made it to the pickup point 2 hours earlier. Soaking wet and hungry, I hurriedly went to a nearest restaurant to chill and warm myself up. After a few hours of waiting, the vehicle finally arrived and we set our journey. Along the way, I couldn't help myself but pray for a good weather since it's been raining hard in Manila. The thick fog outside the window pane is making me more excited to witness what lies ahead. It is giving me a different vibe. After a while, the morning sun came smiling. I felt optimistic again. The first stop of our trip was the well-known northern blossom of Atok Benguet. As soon as we made our halt, I felt excited. I've seen this online just recently and I can't wait to embrace it myself. After a short orientation, I did not stop myself from taking lots of pictures and videos. I have been to some flower farms before, but it was my first time seeing a massive flower farm as this. Not to mention the cabbage roses or the rose cabbages, no matter what they call it, really caught my attention. I even asked one of the caretakers if it is edible and they said yes. However, it has a different taste compared to a usual cabbage we have at home. After taking a stroll around, I helped myself with a cup of hot coffee and bread for free, along with my fellow tourists who were also warming themselves up. After a stopover at Atok Benguet, we proceeded to our destination. Our first goal would be to reach our accommodation and take our lunch. After a while, we have finally reached the log cabin where we will be spending our nights. It was a huge and modern-looking structure with several rooms inside. The biggest space could accommodate up to 5 persons with bed close to the window where you can witness the sea of clouds over the towering pines. After the short preparation, we boarded our service vehicle to start our first tour for the day, the Paitokan Walk. The tour covers the town's public cemetery, home to the deceased folks of Sagada. The stillness of the environment gave us chill as we walk among the tombs. The Echo Valley, where you can shout all your pains, and the remarkable hanging coffins were some of the most iconic views of Sagada. The rites of hanging the dead dates back to over 2,000 years ago, and it is believed that the coffins were hung to make the dead reach a higher nature in the afterlife. Just a few meters away from the site of the hanging coffins were the unusual rock formations and small caves, making the place more interesting for adventurers. After an hour, we decided to head back, and we passed by the prominent church in the town of Sagada, the Church of Saint Mary the Virgin, an Anglican church built under a different sect of Christianity. The Sumaging Cave was the part of our tour where I am really looking forward to have a great time, and I really did. The access to the cave was slippery, and a bad smell coming from the bat's manure could make you feel like you're entering a dungeon. Luckily, we have two guides to make up for that. Inside the cave, for more than an hour, we couldn't help ourselves but be amazed with the rock formations inside, specifically with the stalagmites and stalactites forming bizarre shapes which really adorn the cave with wonders. I highly recommend these spelunking activities for everyone. It is not a chill activity, but it would really make you feel satisfied with a lot of things you can find inside. The following day, we woke up early to prepare for the sunrise viewing at the Marlboro Hills and Blue Soil Mountain. Unluckily, the heavy rain disappointed us, prompting the cancellation of our activity. We returned to our lodge and wait for the heavy rain to falter. After a few hours, we resumed our activity and headed to Bomod-ok Falls, located near the Fidelisan village. We took a service vehicle and proceeded to the jump-off point for orientation and registration.
So ang pupuntahan po natin ay ang Bomod-ok Falls, 2 kilometers away from here. Baka makukuha natin po yan ng mga 1 hour or more.
After the orientation, the guide showed us the access to our destination. The passage was steep, and she keeps on telling us to be extra careful since the rain made it slippery. After more than 30 minutes of walking, we reached the village of Fidelisan, one of the villages in Sagada that still have old ways of living. I was also surprised to see a zipline cable with a small carriage attached to it. At first, I thought that it would carry a person, but upon asking our guide, I learned that it is used only for the transport of goods to the places below. Just close to the Fidelisan village is the iconic Fidelisan rice terraces, built by the locals many years ago. After a few kilometers from the village, we finally reached the majestic Bomod-ok Falls. This 200 feet tall waterfalls pours down a cold and relaxing water which is very captivating for those who wants to rest their exhausted souls from a tiresome walk. In the afternoon, we visited the Sagada Pottery House, where we had a glimpse of how local pottery experts shape clay in order to create a jar, a pot, or a bowl. A demo was also presented to us, and some of my colleagues tried to experience it for themselves. Our last day in Sagada was special. This is the main reason why I really wanted to visit this place. It was exactly 4 a.m. when we boarded our service vehicle going to the jump off point. Along the way, I couldn't help but imagine how awesome it would be, since I've been seeing a lot of posts online regarding how nice it is about the sunrise experience in the Marlboro Hills. Arriving at the jump off point, we were greeted with a huge crowd of hikers and tourists also preparing to hike their way up to witness the sunrise. You can also find a lot of vendors selling souvenirs, bottled water, and snacks. After a few minutes, we started walking along with others who were seemed to be excited to reach the top. The hike would normally take about 45 minutes, but it could go faster or slower depending on our pacing. Around 5:30 a.m. when we finally reached the view deck, and I was really surprised to see a lot of tourists gathering around. It seems like there is a huge celebration going on with this massive crowd. At the back, you can find stalls for vendors selling breakfast meals like champurrado, eggs, bottled water, and soda. And that morning, I ordered a small serving of champurrado to fill my stomach. It was already around 6 a.m. when the sun started to come out from the sea of clouds. Its golden rays devoured the horizons and painted the sky with brilliant glow, as if it is proclaiming its unrelenting quest for hope and aspiration for mankind. As the sun made its way to its throne, we started our walk off the view deck and continue our journey to our next destination, which is the Blue Soil Hills. Along the way to the Blue Soil Hills, we passed by some stores selling snacks and beverages just few meters away from the limestone-walled cliff called Kaipitan, a picturesque landform with a vast grassland below. As we moved forward, we were greeted by the towering pines and noise of the people from the distance, hinting us that the Blue Soil Hills is just a few distance ahead. All our exhausted bodies were relieved upon seeing the Blue Soil Hills, or locally known as Kaman-utak, as we made our way into its territory. The bluish color of the soil, with a little mixture of white, gave us a sense of satisfaction. According to what I've read online, the soil in this part has its bluish color due to the presence of copper. And that's it for our final day in Sagada. After the hike to Marlboro Mountain and Blue Soil Hills, we took an access going to our lodge. After then, we started packing up our things and prepared for departure. It was quite an experience, something that is really worth trying, most especially for those who love adventure. If you are already tired of life in a metropolis, I think you should try exploring the mountains, and surely you will be surprised with what nature can offer you. This is Miko, and this is Wonderverse.